Hi everyone, I'm playing Band of Brothers Screaming Eagles, and this is Scenario 2, So Few, Led by So Many. I've just done the first round of the scenario, and what we have here are the American 101st trying to take this small town here. Their objective is very simple. They are to eliminate all the different German units within the town, and the Germans conversely just have to survive. It's a 7-turn scenario, and in the first turn, the Americans were able to lay down some suppressing fire, enabling 2 of their squads to move up and engage the Germans in close combat. I've actually just separated the counters in the hex so you can see. So they actually should be in the same. They're in the same hex, but normally would be stacked on top of each other. This particular unit here tried to engage this German unit here. They were suppressed from this unit, but they've all only been sort of half suppressed. And then you roll the dice to see if you can activate them as the enemy open up into the clearings. This unit here were able to repress this unit and push them back and stop them in their tracks, fully suppress them. They pass their morale, so they're still hanging on there, but are fully suppressed at this turn. I've just done the sort of melee combat. The melee combat in this game is really, really, really brutal. You're both rolling a couple of dice and seeing what if you can get below your factor. The results of which is that there's no clear winner from both these 2 hexes. This hex we've got a building, and this hex we've got a building as well. It's pretty even Stevens. Both of them took a step loss, so that will need to continue. So yeah, quite an interesting first round. Having played this scenario multiple times, the Americans have got to push hard into the town and take those casualties early game to stand any chance of being able to reduce them all in 7 turns. Now, when you're playing this 2-player, you would actually have a couple of decoy counters as well. I've replaced those with a couple more units, and I've replaced them with the sort of the first line units, so they're a little bit tougher, just to make the scenario a bit more interesting. But as you can see, the Germans are sort of spread throughout the town, so the Americans have got to kind of engage them. The way that this game works, as I think I've shown here, is you really have to suppress the enemy. It is that kind of system of find the enemy, get eyes on them, suppress them, flank them, and then fight them. And the game does that brilliantly well. So yeah, interesting first turn. Let's see how the Americans get on for the next couple of turns, and then we'll have a recap. Hey, so just finished up turn 2 and 3. The American airborne were able to successfully defeat the German units in these buildings here and over there. They did take a few losses themselves in doing so, though. So we currently stand at 2 defeats and defeated German units as well. But as you can see from the board, we've got a lot of American airborne units that have already taken a step loss, whereas the German units are they haven't taken any step losses yet. In particular, worth noting, the weapon team somehow managed to roll a 10 every time they tried to fire anything with a D10. So far I've been not very good. I think the weapon team there, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're playing at, but shooting at the enemy doesn't seem to be their strong point this game. So let's. I'll do the next couple of turns and see how things pan out. So just finished up turns 4 and number 5. The airborne were able to eliminate another German infantry unit that was holding on to that building just there. But other than that, haven't really been able to progress too far at all. That unit was eliminated from ranged weapon fire, but they were unable to really suppress any of the other German units. And without suppressing them at range, charging at them into the open would be potentially incredibly risky. So at the minute we've lost 2 American units of paratroopers, and the Germans have lost 5 units. But the Germans are holding on, and these stone buildings give them, some good defences. I think this is more like a church here that we've got a unit in. And the Americans have only got 2 turns left to eliminate all those 4 units. So let's see how they get on trying to do that. So just finished the game. Just finished the last turn. Unfortunately for the 101st Airborne, they were unable to take the last lone unit of the Germans. In the church here, they were able to suppress this counter here with the weapon team and then move in for the kill, and there was some melee combat, and the actual Airborne managed to win, so that German unit was eliminated. And take hold of that church placement there. The weapon team could move up in the last turn, but just didn't have enough number of turns to be able to then put fire onto that remaining squad over there. That squad did take some fire from the airborne squad here. In fact, they exchanged fire between them, and they were able to suppress them, but not to the point of actually knocking them out, taking them out of the game. So at one point, I thought the 101st were going to find this pretty much a walk in the park and take all the German units, maybe even earlier than the full 7 turns, but not to be. The Germans could just hold on to those last couple of units, and in particular that last single unit, that last squad in those buildings over there. So yeah, really good, close game. If I was to play it again, or next time I play this scenario, playing it solo, maybe I think it was pretty fair actually. I think removing the decoys and replacing them with a couple of German squads kind of evened things up. I think the 101st had a really good early game. They were able to move aggressively forward and take quite quickly a couple of the key buildings and eliminate a couple of units. And then maybe the mid game was a bit lacking, mostly because the weapons team there, even using the command points, just really couldn't put down any fire that was terribly effective in the mid game. And then the end game, I think the 101st did well. Combination of dice rolling. There maybe there could have been some things I could have done better playing the 101st to try and maximise the strategy to get the win. Maybe I was very focused on these kind of units here, and almost, I didn't say I forget about that unit there, but maybe I could have done that a bit differently next time I play the game to see if the 101st can get that win. But yeah, it was great fun, great scenario, great narrative that played out playing it solo. When you're playing this game solo, there's no AI. You're playing both sides. You've got to kind of play them in character, in role, as to what their objective is. Yeah, it's good fun. Not take long to play either. I think I've sort of laid this out and wrapped it up in an hour of gameplay. So, and very tense, and could have gone either way, I think. So yeah, good fun scenario. And yeah, thanks for watching.